Hey, read through the word. Today is February 2nd. Yes, we're finally in February and we're in the book of Exodus. So today's lesson is called To Know Him. Okay, so we are in Exodus chapter 5 right now, and I'm looking at verses 1 through 5. After this presentation to Israel's leaders, Moses and Aaron went and spoke to Pharaoh. They told him, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Let my people go, so they may hold a festival in my honor in the wilderness." "Is that so?" retorted Pharaoh. "And who is the Lord? Why should I listen to him and let Israel go? I don't know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go." But Aaron and Moses persisted. "The God of the Hebrews has met with us," they declared. "So let us take a 3-day journey into the wilderness so we can offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. If we don't, he will kill us with the plague or the sword." The Pharaoh replied, "Moses and Aaron, why are you distracting the people from their task? Get back to work. Look, there are many of your people in the land, and you're stopping them from work." So, here begins the showdown between Pharaoh and the gods of Egypt and the one true God. So, I want you to pay attention to this theme throughout the book of Exodus. This idea of know. K-N-O-W. It is, the Hebrew word is yada, and it is not a intellectual ascension type of knowledge. It is an intimate, it's not knowing about. It's a deep knowing. Just like I talk about all the time, it's one thing to know about God, but to know him is what we're doing. So, a lot of people take this verse that what Pharaoh is saying, now who is this God that I should listen to him? I don't know him. Like, they mean he's never heard of him. No, he means nothing to me. I don't know him. He doesn't. Who is he? So, this is one of those, I think, if we were reading in Hebrew, the words would really fly off the page at us and we would see it more. So, you know how I love to tell you to mark. Some of you who haven't been around, but I like to tell you to mark things up. Now, Wendy will tell you her highlighters. Mine, I'm trying to see if I've got one. You know what I really like to use are the crayon, twistable crayons. They're like a pencil, but they're a crayon, so they don't go through their page. And they're good because you can get so many different colors. And sometimes, like highlighter pens, they're so bright, like you can't really see them well. So I really like those. I would recommend highly, highly, highly to find you whatever color you want in the book of Exodus. I would say, it's whatever color makes sense to you. And I want you to mark every time you see either the word know, K-N-O-W, or like the phrase that they may know. That's key in the book. Or like you shall know, the Egyptians shall know, the Pharaoh shall know, that you may know, that you may know, that you may know. Goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, probably around 20. And now, depending on the translation, that was out of ESV. And so you're going to see it happen a lot in the book. So I want you to pay attention to that. And the showdown is about to begin with the plagues. And so we'll discuss that in the coming days. But this idea is when Pharaoh says, who is this God? I do not know him. I want us to look at the theme that will go throughout all Scripture. That God, I want really here, because this is, he's already revealed himself as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he's using Moses is going to deliver his people. And this story, I don't want us to miss this, that God is not only the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He wants the Egyptians to know him too. And so he is revealing himself to Pharaoh through the plagues as he says, you say you don't know me. Let me show you who I am. And he reveals himself as superior to the gods that Pharaoh does know, these false gods. And so each plague will show that he alone is God. That these gods that the Egyptians and that Pharaoh worship are not the true God. And it is, so if you pay attention closely about this idea of knowing, then you're going to see that throughout this whole thing. Because remember that when we started in the garden and we're headed to Revelation at the end, that God's heart is not just for Israel. And we are not, as Gentiles, are not a afterthought. God has been pursuing from the very beginning. And even in his deliverance of his people from the bondage of slavery, he wants to reveal himself to the Gentile world. And so there are many interactions he will have that God will have Moses and Aaron have interaction with Pharaoh, but throughout the entire deliverance story or deliverance account, you will see all of this idea of knowing and what God's doing. I think so many times when we read a historical narrative, and Exodus is a historical narrative, that when we read that, we're just trying to pay attention to the next thing that happens, that we miss some of the bigger things that are going on too. There's not just English teacher stepping in too, that as far as the Bible as historical narrative, the Bible as God revealing himself to his people, you've got multiple layers to a story. And so as God is telling this story about his people, he's revealing so much about himself because he wants us to know him. So just like he wants Pharaoh to know him, he wants the Egyptians to know him, and he's going to show he's going to redeem his people by his mighty right hand, and we're going to watch all of this happen. But the same God that wants Pharaoh to know him is the same God that wants us to know him too. That this knowledge is more than just a head knowledge. It's more than us just reading his story and saying, check, I've done that. It's about us knowing him in a deeper level, because the same God who spoke to Moses and Aaron speaks to us through his word now. And he invites us to step in, to pay attention, and know him in a deeper way. So pay attention and mark the words. We'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.